It was meant to be just another regimen of perfunctory regal choreography when Meghan Markle's glimmering motorcade pulled up to those hallowed Mayfair offices housing generations of Britain's staunchest journalistic watchdogs. At least, that supposedly constituted the semi-plausible ambit undergirding the Duchess's whole conciliatory charm operation, targeting that fortified Mordor sanctum where our sceptred isle's premier Fleet Street mythmakers ply their austere craft. Just another vapid pseudo-rapprochement dog and pony between a self-proclaimed humanizer of fusty imperialist institutions and the stalwart protectors of that very aristocratic mythos she publicly insisted on immiserating at every turn. What unfolded behind those chastened oak and burnished bronze security portals, however, quickly curdled any whiff of innocuous bilateral diplomacy into an utterly depraved psychodrama of smarm, bad faith, and Mephistophelian self-serving. The sort of Strangelovian grotesquerie culminating in bombshell tell-all exposés scandalizing dignified societies across multiple continents. Which made sense considering Meghan's already disastrous litany of similar, goodwill, junkets resulting in international relations crises, collapsed non-profits, and lawsuits decrying alleged criminal dissembling far eclipsing merely besmirched reputations. But even by those ignoble standards, this outright demonic campaign of tabloid hustler supplication broadcast by the disgraced former princess consort represented a virtuosic new nadir of venality. Here was the same entitlement-drenched succubus desperately lurching door to door from desk to desk among Britain's most venerable Fourth Estate institutions with but one objective: denigrating herself to the most brazen self-debasement depths imaginable, if that's what it took to achieve even a droplet of validation from her former vassals. I'm literally begging you here, please splatter my name and anything vaguely scintillating across your pages day after lurid day. Insiders recount the Duchess simperingly pleading with increasingly disturbed editors-in-chief who'd already clocked her scorched earth histories around charitable foundations and family affairs. Like, I'll happily disclose every single confidential trauma narrative you could possibly demand in exchange for just a sliver of front-page recirculation velocity. Does spilling private sexual dalliances help provide easy clickbaity fluff pieces to tempt readers? Sign me the hell up. I'll do anything to reinvigorate your sagging sales funnels with some fresh Markle-monikered shock value. Tossing aside every last semblance of discretion or propriety, Meghan reportedly made a grand guignol performance of abasing herself before staffers at industry stalwarts like the Evening Standard, the Express, the Daily Mail and more. Unleashing grotesquely histrionic showcases of tears, faux bewilderment at how far my star has fallen among the common folk, and remorseless vows to proffer any lurid intimacies from the heart of Windsor Palace if it achieved just an iota of tabloid immortality. Look, no, the British public already views me as a scheming Machiavellian harpy trying to demolish their sovereign crown from the inside, she shamelessly pleaded during a recorded exchange at the studios of ITV News. But maybe if I demonstrate total submission to the unvarnished, Harry Deese's new C***T narrative you lot relish swirling around the Swingerati sets, then perhaps I can ride that coattail infamy back into a fraction of my former glam influencer prominence. Like, just scorch me with whatever piping hot-lipped misogynist smears your incel basement-dwelling subscribers' fancy. I'll gleefully facilitate their demented perversions however you see fit. Indeed, leaked communications and hastily deleted CCTV footage indicate Meghan resorted to such frenzied piety for relevancy re-injection that she basically catcalled the entire editorial boardroom staffs with full-throated simpers and soft-palmed flirtations more befitting a common dockside harlot rousting for marks. Virtually no lapse of dignity or self-awareness went unexploited as she vamped and gyrated while clad in tantalizing haute couture get-ups bearing maximum décolletage and garter-flashing thigh expanses. All merely as runway introductions for more substantive proposals about leaking her steamiest off-the-record bedroom escapades and substance abuse peccadillos if assigning those tales any journalistic gloss boosted online reach metrics. Oh my god, you should have been there as she aggressively dragged my managing editor onto the futon spreaders during one of her on-the-record solicitations. A junior Daily Mirror clerk frantically texted amidst those deluge of Dukel drive-bys like a war reporter sending missives from the front lines of debauched decorum collapse. I'm not kidding, Meghan literally untied her skirt's laces and started ralphing out these guttural mating calls about spilling royal insider tea on Harry's ding-dong habits if we'd simply mercy splash her on a few dozen A1 covers to reintroduce some more brand ubiquity. I've seen professional fetish workers classier and more ashamed of their hustle than this thirstbucket's implorings. In one particularly stomach-churning transcript authenticating Meghan's unspeakable supplication tactics, the Duchess is heard explicitly invoking actual bodily harm or suicidal ideation narratives if angling for more promotional saturation proved less than fruitful. According to staffers at the scene, she spiraled into unbalanced convulsions threatening to swallow the jagged corner of a hardbound desk encyclopedia unless more Markle murching pervaded Britain's paper of record pipeline. And ultimately discharged from the foyer in straitjacketed hysterics blaring every self-immolation trigger imaginable, up to and including coded threats of physical vengeance on any editors failing to splash her comeback across their rags-hallowed mastheads. Oi, you could actually smell the despair wafting off Markle like some sour budget sushi left festering beneath a sweat-lodged lithium halfway house's sunken den. One veteran Daily Express editor with over 4 decades under his belt and 7 family members stretching across Fleet Street institutions confided on condition of strictest anonymity. So blimey, it were tragical watching the undisguised breakdown of that formerly strong woman's last shreds of dignity and composure crumbling before us. Like when she finally vowed to immolate her eyes with a red-hot fountain pen nib until more rebranding buzz crystallized, we just about retched right there on the parquets. I've witnessed all manner of the dolefully damned and depraved during my days, but never anything rivaling those Faustian recitations of sheer unchecked human delusion. Despite such unseemly spectacles of discarded nobility strewn haphazardly across the ink-stained temples of veracity's hallowed priesthood, newsroom stewards continue officially denying anything of the sort ever unfolded in their respective precincts. But increasing numbers of leaked eyewitness testimonies and multimedia footages have rendered even that reflexive stonewalling inoperative. It's now rapidly becoming impossible to obscure credible documentation of Meghan's unbelievable bat signal for schadenfreude-inflected brand defilement at all costs, even if it requires ceremonially disemboweling her own societal value as human vessel before live studio audiences. Some outlets have already begun aggressively courting Netflix for Meghan's life rights as primary source material for an imminent reality TV spectacle. While the more stolidly ethicist holdouts dug into traditional Fleet Street newsroom standards still maintain stiff upper lips about handling the sad former princess with utmost civility despite her self-debasement. Even going so far as avoiding the topic entirely until further notice, perhaps the only true decorous act of mercy still vouchsafing any last vestiges of courtly discretion through that bonfire of shattered modern celebrity culture's macabre vanities. But whether Meghan's shamelessly abased ID ever succeeds reinserting its name atop tabloid headline tarpets for another 15 minutes of scorching dishonor before succumbing into obscurity's tender embrace remains unknown for now. 1.